You know those plans that are so perfectly crafted, so incredibly detailed that they seem absolutely foolproof, and then you watch them just completely crumble at the first sign of real-world trouble? Well, the hidden culprit behind that is often a surprisingly common thinking error called overfitting. And trust me, understanding it can change how you plan for just about everything.
To get a feel for what I'm talking about, just imagine you're studying for a big history exam. Now you've got two options. Option one, you can actually learn the subject, understand the patterns, the causes, the big ideas. Option two, you get your hands on last year's test and you just memorize the answers. Now look, if the teacher reuses the exact same questions, you'll look like a genius. But what if they write new ones? You're toast. And that right there, that's the core of our topic today. The huge difference between real, tough understanding and fragile, superficial memorization. So that whole history exam analogy, it gets us right to the heart of this concept. It's all about mistaking what's truly important for what's just random coincidence. It's about mistaking noise for signal.
So here's the official term, overfitting. It's when we create a model, or a plan, or a strategy that's tuned so perfectly to past events that it doesn't just learn the real lessons, it also learns all the random, weird, unrepeatable quirks from the past. Now, this is a well-known idea from statistics and machine learning, but as you're about to see, its reaches way, way wider than that.
This visual just makes it so clear, right? On one hand, you've got the signal. That's the underlying truth, the real repeatable pattern. Think of it as the genuine historical trend. But on the other hand, you've got the noise. That's just random static, the flukes, the one-offs, the pure coincidences. An overfit model literally cannot tell the difference. It memorizes that chaotic scribble just as carefully as it learns that nice, smooth wave.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because overfitting isn't just some problem for data scientists and their algorithms. Oh no, it is a deeply human error in judgment that pops up absolutely everywhere.
Take military strategy, for instance. After World War I, France built the Maginot Line. It was an absolute masterpiece of defensive fortification, perfectly designed to counter the horrors of trench warfare they had just experienced. They had, in effect, perfectly memorized the last exam. But what happened in 1940? The German army didn't repeat the test. They just went around it.
We see it in education, too. When a curriculum is designed to teach the super specific, narrow job skills that are in demand right now, it risks overfitting. The student becomes perfectly optimized for today's market, but they might get left behind when technology and the economy, as they always do, inevitably change. The real signal isn't knowing one specific coding language, it's the ability to learn and adapt to any of them.
And of course, investing. This is a classic. You can design an algorithm that would have given you absolutely incredible returns over the last 10 years. But it might have just found coincidental patterns, pure noise, in that one specific market cycle. And when conditions change, that strategy that looked so brilliant in the rearview mirror can drive you right off a cliff.
And speaking of cliffs, let's look at what might be the single most dramatic, most cautionary tale of overfitting in all of history: the collapse of a hedge fund called long-term capital management.
Now look, this was not some back-of-the-napkin operation. LTCM was staffed by a literal dream team. We're talking Nobel Prize-winning economists, legendary traders, the absolute smartest guys in the room. And they truly believed they had created a machine that could print money.
And for a little while, it really seemed like they had. Their models were, and this is the key phrase, exquisitely calibrated to historical market data. They were perfectly tuned to the recent past, and because of that, they generated these mind-blowing returns for years. They were acing the test over and over and over again.
Then, in 1998, the exam changed. A financial crisis in Russia set off a chain reaction, creating market conditions their models had never seen before and just couldn't comprehend. The result? A complete and utter catastrophic failure. They lost $4.6 billion in under 4 months. They almost took the entire global financial system down with them.
And there it is, the classic pattern of overfitting. It's a simple, deadly recipe. Step 1. Build a model that's perfectly optimized for the past. Step 2. It works beautifully, generating huge returns. Step 3. Something new, something completely unexpected happens. And step 4. The model, which had memorized all that random noise along with the real signal, completely, totally falls apart.
So, if even Nobel laureates can fall into this trap, how do the rest of us avoid it, right? How do we stop studying for the wrong test? Well, the solution lies in a big shift in our mindset, away from perfection and toward resilience.
The antidote is something we can call deliberate simplicity. First, you've got to value robustness over optimization.
Think of it like choosing all-weather tires for your car. Now, are they the absolute best in a blizzard? No. Are they the best on a dry racetrack? No. But they perform pretty darn well everywhere. A specialized racing tire, on the other hand, is completely useless the second it starts to rain. Next, use fewer parameters. In business, this might mean focusing on just 3 key metrics that really drive success, instead of a 100-column spreadsheet that just gives you a false sense of precision. Simpler plans are just harder to break. And this one is crucial. Test your model on data it has never seen. This is like practicing a big presentation in front of a group of total strangers, not just your supportive friends who already know what you're going to say. You need to see how your ideas hold up under new, unpredictable conditions. And it all comes down to this final principle. It is so much better to have something that works reasonably well in many situations than something that works perfectly in only one.
So that really leaves us with one final question to think about. In your career, in your investments, even in your own personal thinking, where might you be perfectly prepared for a past that is never, ever going to repeat itself? Where in your life are you still studying for last year's exam?